The Davidson Legacy. And so without this little place, without the people that lived here, then Harley Davidson wouldn't have existed. Planning on staying in Scotland for another night and getting some more bikes and going to see historical Harley Davidson thing. But it rained last night and it's all wet and it's meant to rain again tomorrow, so we figured get in the car, we're not far, and go and do it anyway. And I know we're not doing it on bikes, guys, but we can't pass up an opportunity to go to this place, and I really want to show you. As you can see, I'm a bit morning. We didn't
that
sleep.
Explains it well.
We
We're
didn't
try that again.
Yeah, but that explains it perfectly, I think.
Yeah, the rooms weren't very quiet. We had couples arguing upstairs. We had snoring men next door.
Yeah, it was.
So we tried to match them for noise.
We're not putting that in.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, we'll let the expert tell it. Hopefully.
Expert talent. What, are you saying I'm not an expert?
Correct. I'm sure we'll wake up and redo this later.
No, I think it's important to show the reality of sharing a hotel room. Snoring, arguing couples, not us. I mean, I'm not saying we don't argue, I'm just saying it wasn't us this time.
And Caroline stands up, takes a bottle and bashes the floor. And you can hear the guy upstairs going, "Hello?"
Well, I bashed our ceiling, their floor.
Yeah.
But they were really going at it,
They're
weren't they?
having hammer and tongs with each other.
Yeah.
They didn't shut them up though, that was something.
Well, it did quieten them.
For a minute.
Yeah. Anyway, that was fun. Go to this thing in a car, which just doesn't feel right though, does it?
No.
We should be riding up.
I want to come back to Scotland.
Yeah, there's so much I want to see.
And then we've got to come see the castles.
Yeah, the castles and the west coast, northeast, the west coast. Yeah, I always have to do. I don't know why. Obviously, I know north and south, but east and west in my head gets
It's the same as your right and left.
Yeah. If you do struggle with your right and left, it keeps life interesting.
No, it doesn't.
Why?
I'll show you some video footage. So, left, left, left. Oh, sorry, I thought you went this way. Well, left is the right side, you see.
No, it's the easy. No, hang on. Right's the easy way, and left is the harder way. So if there's a harder road to turn, then that's left.
God, that's good. That's definitely going in. How much of a dickhead can I make you look like?
Wow, thanks. Right is easy, left is trickier. Right, so we've got another, hour and a half? Okay, I'm off. Okay guys, we are here, and what we have to show you is that this here, that is the ancestral home of the Davidsons from Harley Davidson in rural Scotland. The grandfather of the guys that started Harley Davidson, their dad was a blacksmith and he lived there. So the dad was born here and then moved to Milwaukee, but this is where their family came from, in Scotland. We're going to go speak to the people that own the house now, and they're going to tell us a bit more, because I could tell you the history, but I think it's going to be so much better coming from them, because...
Someone who actually knows it.
Wow. Look how quaint it is. And they've restored it back to what it would have looked like in the 1800s. So what does it say here? The Davidson Legacy. Oh, what's that? Is that the...
These are the little badges you can get. So you got The Rolling Hills Hog. There's Manchester, Harley Place, Brecon.
So it's just, look how lovely.
That's pretty cool.
And so without this little place, without the people that lived here, then Harley Davidson wouldn't have existed.
You must be Mike.
Yeah, how you doing?
Not too bad. How are you? You alright being on camera?
Yeah, sure.
It's Brian, by the way.
Hi, Brian.
I don't know if we can shake. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is
Hello.
Caroline.
Hi, Caroline.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
And you?
Yeah.
Wow, it's incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
And we didn't even arrive on our Harleys.
Yeah, I know.
I know, we were gutted.
Did you just pass some going the other way? That was
Yeah, we saw 3 of them.
German guy with the long forks.
Yeah, we
stuff.
saw
Yeah.
3 of them leaving. We saw quite a few, and we were definitely heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
But so we were at Edinburgh Harley Davidson yesterday, and we were
Yeah.
chatting to some guy, and he said, "You should come up here." And
You
we were
have
like,
to come here, yeah.
"Anyway, thanks for having us." Yeah.
Do you want a cup of coffee or something?
I'd love a
first,
cup of
or-
coffee if you wouldn't mind.
I can hear, is that the electricity I can hear?
Yeah. It's
Oh, wow.
It's really annoying.
Oh, is it?
Actually, when we were restoring the place, the planners tried to stop us doing it. They wanted a new house, the same as these houses over there, and the head planner said, you can't do it because there's power lines there. And I said, but the cottage was here way before, it was 1720s it was
Yeah.
built. You know, it was
1720.
here way before the power lines were there, you know.
Wow.
But also it's so much more beautiful than a modern building.
Yeah. And I've got some stuff up there that you'll find interesting. That's kind of how we found it in the first place. The roof had caved in. Quite a few people knew about it worldwide at that time. But since we started doing it, we've had 9 different family members from the Davidsons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That's Jean Davidson there. That's Bruce Davidson, John Davidson, and Bill Davidson. So yeah, we've had quite a lot of them over. This guy here is Arthur Harley Davidson. Jean took us up there when we were over in 2010. She said, I must take you up to see Arthur, Uncle Arthur. His father started Harley Davidson. He was 96 when we met him.
Oh, gosh.
And the stories that he had of early days of Harley Davidson is just unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you share?
So, some of them, yeah. Well, one kind of falsehood that everyone seems to think, and I don't know whether you saw a film called Harley and the Davidsons. Something that they did on that, which wasn't very fair, was make Bill Hendy, the founder of Indian motorcycles, they made him out to be an absolute ogre that was trying to close them down and all this kind of stuff. But
Right.
Arthur Harley Davidson said they were great friends of the family.
Oh, really?
The Hendys, the Davidsons and the Harleys, they all went out and played golf together, they did
Oh wow.
all sorts of stuff together, and he said that Indian actually helped Harley early days, because Indian were ahead of Harley in terms of production and stuff like that. They actually helped him out, you know. So
Oh, that's nice
fascinating.
that you can clear that up and
Yeah.
that's not gone.
But Jean is like the family historian. She had lots of handwritten notes from...
That's Jean.
Yeah, that's Jean. She had lots of handwritten notes from the mother-in-law of Sandy Davidson that stayed here. She left in 1843. Her husband had died and she had 2 kids, and she went over to America to get a new life. And the only reason Harley Davidson are in Milwaukee is because she ended up in Milwaukee, or just outside it. And she started trading. There was 5 different tribes in the area, and she started trading with them, and she wrote a letter back here to Sandy and his wife to say, if a man can do an honest day's work, then America is a place to be. And that is why they left here and went over to get a new life. In 1851, the census at that time, there was 10 people living in the cottage. Sandy and Margaret, 6 kids,
Oh, okay.
and 2 workers from the blacksmith shop, which Sandy ran. He wasn't a blacksmith, everyone thinks he was a blacksmith, but he was actually a Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T, who made cart wheels. He did everything to do with wood that would have pertained to the blacksmith shop.
Got you.
And his sons ended up following him, like William C. He was a carpenter, and his sons, who started Harley Davidson, all worked for the railroads. There was plenty of work out there. William C., who was born in the cottage, he built the original shed, the 10 by 15 shed, for his sons to start the company.
So it was, Sandy was
He was the father, yeah.
like the grandfather of the guy who started.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's right,
okay.
Yeah, yeah. And William C. was the father. So
And
the
who
father
lived here as well, like-
father of the founders was born here. He saw 20 years of the company. He came from fairly humble beginnings. He saw the kind of way that the company expanded over the years. And he died in 1923, which was really quite a height for the company. They were selling a lot of bikes at that time.
Oh, that's nice
So,
that he
yeah.
could see
could
that.
see
Yeah,
it,
he
hear
saw
it.
all that, you know.
That's, I gather, you.
Yeah, that's that's me there. That's Jochen Zeitz,
Yeah.
he's the CEO. And that's Maggie, my partner. That's Keith, who's involved in the cottage as well. And that's Bill Davidson, he's Willie G's son.
And that's the family tree.
That's the family tree there, yeah. A few people have signed it. We've got Bill, who's Bill Davidson here. He's just under Willie G. We have Jeff Davidson and his wife Evie. That's Jean Davidson there. And then that's Arthur Harley Davidson. And he's put, I am 96. The original people that stayed in the cottage are Alexander and Margaret. This is their children. It all comes down to William C. Davidson, who, as I said, he was 11 years old when they left here. He met Margaret McFarlane.
But she's also a descendant from Scotland. Well,
She
her,
is, yeah.
Yeah.
She came from Stirling, from Campsie in Stirling. He met her over there in Milwaukee. They got married, and that's the three Davidson sons that started the company with Bill Harley. That's his offspring. And Harley Davidson was actually started with Scottish money as well.
Oh, really?
When the three Davidson guys and Bill Harley were working in the shed, they had a jar, and Jean Davidson told us this. They had a jar that they kept putting some money in to try and get enough money to make a frame. They were using push bike frames to begin with, but the jar got stolen. So they didn't have any money to keep going. So they went to their uncle, James McClay, who was a relative of
Margaret McFarlane.
He gave them a promissory note to start the company, and I've actually held that in my hand. The Harley family were handing in things to the museum over in Milwaukee, and the curator at the time, he's not there anymore, but it was Jim Frick. He said, "You must see this," and he handed it to me, and I'm looking at it, and I knew exactly what it was, promissory note, and I think was it $700 or something like that to start the company. Someone else that he went away and came back, and he said, "Here, have a look at this," and it was an A4 blueprint of an engine, full-size engine, and it was signed at the bottom by William S. Harley, Bill Harley, and it was his first drawing of an engine for Harley Davidson. It was 1901.
Wow.
And it was full size, but that was to put in a push bike frame. It was only 200 odd cc, very small engine, and it wasn't big enough to get up the hills. So I think they built a 400 cc one at that time, but it was too powerful for the push bike frame, so they had to build frames. So that's why they did it. But the whole reason that they did it in the first place was to go fishing. They were interested in fishing. There was lakes all round about Milwaukee. They had to use push bikes to go, and it was really Arthur Davidson and Bill Harley that were really good friends. They thought, how can we make it easier to go fishing? French guy Merkel, he did a demonstration through the middle of Milwaukee on a motorised bicycle, and they said, that's how we do it, that's how we go fishing. And that's why they decided to make a motorised push bike, so that they could go fishing. And that's the whole reason that Harley Davidson exists, because they wanted to build something to
go fishing.
To go fishing, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Is it your cottage then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Myself, Maggie, and Keith. We got it as a wreck and thought we've got to save it. So we proved the provenance, then managed to save it from the bulldozer. About a month later, and it would have been knocked
Gone,
down.
yeah.
But we couldn't let that happen. We couldn't
Yeah.
allow it to just be
To
knocked
go.
down.
At what point did Milwaukee get involved, or did you let them know from the start?
We tried to get in touch with them, they would never reply, and I hand wrote a letter
Yeah.
and sent it over to Juneau Avenue, and I think it was about 3 days later I got a phone call from Michael Davidson,
Okay.
Bill's brother,
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, you've found our Scottish home." He was jumping up and down. He worked for Harley at the time and just picked it up off a desk and phoned up. And we tried to get Bill over. Early days, we tried to get Willie G over, and it was only a few weeks ago that Bill actually made it over. But we've had loads of other family members in that time, you know. That's Sandy and Margaret that stayed here.
Yeah.
How come he was called Sandy when his name was
Alexander?
Alexander.
So they still do that in Scotland.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
so a shortening of Alexander is Sandy?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Strange thing happened. There was a French guy here. He was reading this book. He turned this page here and he was looking at this here and he looked over and he said to a guy behind me, he said, "This looks like you." And he went, "Yeah, that's me." That was Bruce Davidson, Jean's cousin. Another guy, funnily enough, that stayed on one of the lakes was Ole Evinrude of Evinrude Outboard Motors. Evinrude is a really famous outboard motor. He lived on one of the lakes and he was a friend of Arthur, and he helped them build the first carburetor for the Harley. So a really strange coincidence.
The humble beginnings to where we are now.
But it's, to be honest, it's the first time that Harley Davidson have said we are from Scotland, this is where it all started. And the CEO, Jochen Zeitz, has signed the visitors book there saying it's great to be where it all started.
Yeah.
So now
they acknowledge
they're
it.
actually saying that now. You see the original cottage from here, just like up to the top of the windows and the door there is the original 1720s cottage. And you see the new stone that they've brought in, the green stone.
Yeah.
They've raised the roof. That was done when the Davidsons were here. They wouldn't have put 10 people in otherwise if they hadn't had rooms up the stairs.
Yeah.
Got it.
But they've actually extended the cottage, yeah.
So we can go in the house now. But look, touching the walls. Oh, mind your head, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute.
It's
Oh
all the original floor in here. We had to take it all up to put a membrane down, get rid of all the weeds and stuff that were growing through. And that's what Jean was keen on, the fact that she was walking on
the actual floor. So there you go, guys. We're walking on the actual floor.
Yeah.
The ancestors of the Davidsons. And look, there's a bed here in the kitchen.
It's the original tap. Put the original tap on there, which Jeff Davidson had to hold it and say my ancestors used this tap to get the hot water.
Oh really? This original tap?
Yeah, that's original.
Look at that. Original tap. That's incredible. I love how much effort you put in here.
Yeah. Well, I had to do it right, you know.
And Brian can fit.
Yeah. Well, Brian won't fit up the stairs.
No.
Obviously they wouldn't have had electricity. Obviously.
A lot of the homes in Scotland, I find this strange because it's a very small house and there's 10 people living in it, but they always kept a good room. And the good room was kept for a Sunday when the minister would visit. The children would be in their best clothes, they would have to sit down and be quiet and say nothing while the parents spoke to the minister.
Oh really?
Yeah. A local person told me that there used to be a box bed in this corner here, which would make sense for the amount of people that were living in it.
Yeah. It's fair to say, without them moving, HD would not exist.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think Jochen Zeitz said that without this being here and them being here, and John Davidson says it as well on the video, there would be no Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
The Harley Davidson connection really, if you want to boil it down, goes really to Arthur Davidson and Bill Harley.
Yeah.
They were the two friends. They were the ones that went fishing. They were the ones that. And Bill Harley was the engineer. He went and did a degree in engineering, but he was working for a push bike factory to begin with. So he had knowledge of push bikes, frames, wheels, everything like that. Yeah. So that was the connection really. He was the engineer. Arthur went round the world setting up dealerships. He came over to Scotland as well. I've seen his passport. He had a passport that size for England and another one that size for Scotland. Two individual things. You know. But yeah, he went out to promote the company worldwide. Really useful skill. Bill Harley really was the guy that did the engineering.
Got you.
He really did the engines, did the frames, stuff like that. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I just think it's so incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Oh,
for showing
that's
us around. This is just fabulous. I love it so much.
Yeah. This bit through here again, quite Scottish. That's a wee pantry in there. That's where they would have kept their milk and cheese and stuff. But just mind the wee road.
Mind your head, mind the gap.
Yeah. This is the
So
reason
this
you-
is the extent.
This is what you need to present.
okay.
Yeah.
So Brian, just watch the slope. Oh, I love it. You have to really bend down. I love it. Oh my goodness, I love this. It's so cute.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, just
Give
look.
it. Be a bit of a tight squeeze.
Yeah.
He made it.
I don't know whether you'll be safe to stand up.
Yeah, I'll be
really.
standing like this. Yeah,
Hi,
don't
Brian.
Quite fit. There we go. So.
People were shorter in those days.
Oh wow.
He has
Okay.
tall German jeans.
Yeah.
And Scottish,
I'm
actually.
Scottish.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, Brian was adopted, so he's learning about his heritage, and we've
Yeah.
just found out he's half German, half Scottish.
Yeah, my grandfather was Lord Man.
Right.
Yeah, apparently we have a crest of arms in the Tower of London.
Right.
Yeah, I found out I had a brother
Yeah.
about a year and a half ago.
Right.
It turns out same mum, same dad. You know, she didn't tell me that.
Oh well.
But we both adopted, and so we're arguing over who will become Lord.
Right.
I think I should claim the title.
Yeah.
Because this is a decent sized room,
It's
isn't it?
not bad, It's
Yeah.
not bad size. Yeah. there's
Well, as long as they weren't
not-
Brian's
apart
height.
from the height, yeah. Well, as you pass, you'll see, in fact, I'll point them out. See the marks of people's heads
Oh,
on here. You see them all?
Yeah.
All the marks.
Oh well.
That's people banging their heads. This is my favourite.
oh,
Yeah,
lovely.
Yeah, this room's my favourite one. Got a good picture of Jean Davidson on her birthday. Oh, her birthday was just coming up, kind of thing. And I said, "Can I take a picture of you sitting on the bed?" And she just jumped back and lay on the bed, you know.
It's really great that you've done something like this. You
Yeah.
know, to
Yeah, well,
Preserve for the
I suppose
future
we-
generations.
I saw my first Harley when I was 13. I was at the school, and this guy used to come. I was standing at the bus stop, and this old 45 Harley used to come round the corner
Yeah.
every lunchtime, and it just got to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why, and I started getting Easy Riders when they came out, and I started reading them and found out more about them and that's all I ever wanted was a Harley
You're
Davidson.
exactly like me.
So
At the age of 18, I jumped on the back of a Harley,
yeah,
and I've never wanted anything since.
yeah,
Harley boy, hey.
Yeah, it really is a Harley
so,
boy.
yeah,
So I begged and begged and begged.
yeah.
And then a couple of years back in France, we jumped on the 48. I hadn't ridden a bike for over 20 years, by the way.
Yeah,
And I'd never taken a passenger either.
yeah,
And she jumped on the back of it, and we went cruising down the south of France through Monaco and all that.
yeah.
It got your long jersey stuck in the back rear brakes.
All right.
Yeah, we were going really, really, really slowly at the time because we hadn't
I
been
didn't
on
know.
it for long.
Yeah, about
And
20
then
minutes,
we
yeah.
just, we were crawling, and then I just felt it tugging me back, and I went, because he said, just tap if you need to stop at any time. And I just went, stop! And the whole thing was wrapped up, wasn't
wrapped
it?
up in the back of the brakes. We'd like hacked it loose with a knife and everything. And I couldn't start the bike. Saturday night in the middle of France.
Yeah.
And we just so happened to break down in one of the most expensive places in south of France. we went for a pizza at the local place. It was like 50 euros for pizza.
Oh, it was crazy. And they wouldn't serve it. It had to have. So they brought us this pizza, and I went to go and take it off the tray, and the guy said, "No, no, no, don't touch it."
You have to
And
serve
then
it to us.
another man, all
Oh,
dressed
yeah,
up,
yeah,
had
yeah.
to come and take the pizza from the tray to my table. And I was just give me the pizza.
I'm hungry.
Yeah. So it was good. Yeah. So we had to get a call out, didn't we?
Yeah, and then we got back and she said, "Go on then." And so I found myself my Road King. And then whilst we were actually shopping for bikes, we saw one in the showroom, and she said, "Oh, if I was going to get one, this is the one I'd get."
Not thinking again.
Yeah.
And so I bought that one, and then turned out that my license wasn't valid. So,
Right.
and she didn't have a license, so we had two Harleys sitting in the garage for like 3 months until we managed to do it. So
But we've loved them ever since.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I can't believe you couldn't bring our Harleys. So, it's incredible. Oh, looking at the photos of you. So no, thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate
So
it.
much history. I mean, this is just fantastic as a house preserved on its own, even without the Davidson history, which has just added to it.
Yeah.
So, well, especially with us having the bike.
Seeing that you've made the journey here, I want to give you a small memento. This is an original piece of stone slate from the roof of the cottage.
Oh my God.
That's pretty cool.
Looking at it, when I picked it up, I never noticed this, but you can see the hand scribe
Right.
marks on it. This would have been from the ridge. See the ridge pieces up there?
Oh yeah?
This is one of the original ones which we couldn't use, obviously, because it's broken, but it would
Oh
have
my
been
goodness.
it would have been
pretty cool.
carved all in one piece to that
Sit
shape.
down.
And that's how
Look
they
at
did
that.
it. It was all hand done, so that is off the original cottage,
Thank
and it
you
would have been there when the Davidsons were here.
Look at the ridges. Thank you so much. Are you
No,
serious?
yeah.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, it's just something to remember your trip.
A
Oh,
trip
I
up there.
love it. It's so kind of you.
No, that's all right.
You don't understand how much these things mean to
I
me
know,
because I
you
love
know.
the history and you know, as I said, it's
Because
just
that's,
that.
what, how
Yeah.
many years old?
Early 1820s, 1830s, so
Wow.
around about then.
That's pretty cool.
It's like 200 years old.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I love it. Thank
For
you
my
so
60th,
much.
Harley Davidson sent over some bricks from the original Juno Avenue building.
Oh,
They were
really?
doing works on it, and everyone thought, "Oh, that's really strange getting bricks for your 60th birthday," but I've
It
got them
means-
in there, like there's original bricks from when they built.
No, I think if you
Juno
get it, if it,
Yeah, if you
do you
know-
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
if you, yeah, if it means a lot to you, it's
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
oh, this
Well,
is
thank you so much.
fantastic.
That's
Oh, you're
awesome.
very welcome. Very welcome. Thanks for coming up.
Oh no, we heard about you and we're just like, oh my gosh, we have to go, we have to stay, but we're not on the bikes. What are we going to do? We're like,
Yeah.
okay, just go anyway.
Yeah.
We've just been. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's so incredible, and all the stories and everything that you've shared with us, and what you've done. You guys, there's so much work.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. But we had to save it. It was going to get bulldozed, so we had to.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you guys.
But this
Really,
has been so special for us. It's incredible.
thank you so much for showing us about.